Tanjavu's Brihadeshwar, Delhi's Jama Masjid, and Chennai's Our Lady of Light. These are some of India's prestigious heritage monuments, some more than 1,000 years old and still standing strong. For various activities, these heritage monuments have been and continue to attract millions of people year after year. Societies have rapidly developed around heritage monuments. How then should such societies coexist with heritage monuments?
This is unfortunate that it has happened, but if you go to a place like Jama Masjid in Delhi, which is surrounded completely, encircled by shops, markets, etc., etc., but in a way it's good that heritage coexists with the everyday in India. But again, to come back to the point of consciousness raising, people around the heritage site should be more conscious that they live in a very special area.
Long ago, these artifacts and their heritage structures were maintained for their significance. Now, they're either openly displayed in various museums across the country, or they're just left in their natural environment.
Most of these heritage structures require very little maintenance. They only require routine wiping, cleaning, dusting, and keeping the place free of litter. That's about it. They don't require anything other than that. But what happens by and large with all government agencies is that the moment they are faced with an old building, they go by their own tendering system for getting these buildings repaired and kept properly. And their contractors don't have the expertise to maintain these buildings or even to suggest what repair work can be done. So they invariably suggest that you put glazed tiles, you fix a syntax tank over here, or you put a plastic door over there. Over a period of time, water begins to seep into all those structures, and then these structures become weak.
The question is, how much access should the public have to monuments and heritage sites in India?
The public should absolutely have access, the whole public, including Indians, including foreigners. It's global heritage as well. I do think that the entrance fees being low is important so that everyone can have access, and keeping people out isn't really the point. And the heritage is only meaningful to people, and if we keep people out of it, then it loses its meaning.
Many heritage monuments have paid the price of the general public being granted access to visit them. A few still continue to bear it.
Another example, an example of really sort of unfortunate defacement of art and heritage falls into the Maratha paintings that we find. People have been carving their names, their initials, and scribbling even on the face of the Maharaja of Thanjavur.
The laws are all right. I think whatever laws that we had, I think the implementation is very poor. Hardly any implementation for heritage preservation. I think the Archaeological Survey of India needs to be empowered much more to ensure that monuments and other kinds of heritage are preserved.
Preservation and development are often seen to be in conflict, and certainly When there's a limited amount of space in big cities and in urban centers, then even that 100 meters around a temple could seem like a really useful space that should be used. As long as it doesn't immediately impact on the monument, I can see that you could move closer to it and not necessarily harm anything. If people don't recognize and appreciate heritage and don't have a kind of an attitude of preservation, that is the general public having an attitude of preservation, then it doesn't matter whether there's 100 meters or 50 meters or 300 meters.
I think what we are doing is correct because we are exposing the monuments to everybody. See, today you look at an average Indian, almost everybody would, I mean, several people in the country would have gone and seen the Taj Mahal. Now, suppose the entry fee was 5,000 rupees or something, how many people do you think will go? I think we need to encourage that. But I would look at surveillance as the only option because you are not kind of impinging on anybody's privacy. This is a public place where you are supposed to behave with a certain decorum. So let us have cameras. After all, most temples today have surveillance cameras. I don't know who is watching them at the other end. Probably nobody is. But it's high time, I think, that we get people to do that.
Go.
And so I think there are a lot of different solutions, but one important one, I think, would be to post security guards in a lot of these places that would protect the monuments, and not just security cameras, because you could do that too, but security guards will actually tell people, please don't spit on the monument, please don't carve your initials in the monument, please don't deface the monument in any way, and actually that itself is a kind of an awareness raising, using guards to inform the public and to sort of teach the public about what is in a sort of a good way to interact with a monument and what isn't. Mainly good ways being just look and enjoy, and without touching or defacing or destroying.
Yeah, so the question is, how do we draw a line between use and abuse, and vandalism? While you say one hand that it's important that these spaces are used continuously, but at the same time, how do we prevent them from being vandalized and abused? Names are scribbled everywhere.
See, today you have electronic surveillance systems. So I think we need to have cameras, because after all there is a government ruling that every public place there have to be sufficient surveillance cameras. So I think they can be used, and there must be a watch and ward which will keep looking at who is doing these things, and they must apprehend them immediately and penalize them for vandalizing a public monument. I think that once they realize that there is security in a place, it will happen. But without that, I think this noble idea of educating the people and ensuring that they will stop vandalizing, it will take 200 years to educate them, by which time we may not have any monument left.